Pragmata is yet another massive win for single-player games, proving once again that new IPs and raw creativity can sell like hotcakes, while the industry keeps pushing the same tired live service slop that keeps failing. Did I mention that Bungie's new extraction shooter Marathon just dropped to a pathetic daily peak of around 19,000 players on Steam? I mean, we all saw this coming, right? We've been screaming at these publishers for years that the live service bubble was gonna burst in their faces. Meanwhile, Capcom drops their weird new Space Dad game Pragmata, and it immediately blasts past 1 million sales in literally just 2 days. It's almost like people actually want to buy a complete handcrafted experience instead of being milked for microtransactions in a dead genre. Dude, the writing has been on the wall for a while now, but studios just refuse to read it. They keep chasing this mystical live service dragon, hoping to catch lightning in a bottle and find the next Fortnite, and instead they just end up filling graves right next to Concord and Highguard. And I gotta say, dude, this has been an absolute generational run for Capcom lately. These guys are just not missing at all. Think back to like a decade ago when Capcom was fumbling the bag with Resident Evil 6. They took a step back, built the RE engine, and completely turned their entire company around. Now, it doesn't matter if it's Resident Evil Requiem, Street Fighter 6, or even Monster Hunter Wilds pushing over 10 million units in a single month. They're literally printing money because they actually deliver good games. The rest of the AAA gaming industry is acting exactly like modern Hollywood right now. Just look at the movie industry. You have these bloated $200 to $300 million budgets being thrown at awful nostalgia bait remakes or superhero movies that nobody asked for, and then the executives act shocked with the surprised Pikachu face when they bomb at the box office. Gaming is doing the exact same thing. Publishers are terrified of taking a risk on a new idea, so they just copy whatever was popular 5 years ago. But Capcom, they aren't afraid to try new things. They greenlit a sci-fi action game where you play as an astronaut protecting a little robot girl on the moon, and guess what? Gamers are eating it up. But let's just rewind a little bit and look at Marathon for a second, because the contrast here is kinda hilarious. Bungie had all this rich history with Halo, right? They essentially built the modern console shooter, and love it or hate it, Destiny was a massive juggernaut for them that defined a whole generation of looter shooters. But then Sony buys them out for billions, they get hit with a massive wave of layoffs, they fail to meet financial expectations, and then they throw it all away to make a $40 extraction shooter that nobody asked for. Like seriously, extraction shooters are basically just battle royales with extra steps. You run around some big open map, shoot some blocky robot NPCs, get instantly headshotted by a sweat lord who hasn't seen the sun in about a month, and then lose all your gear. And honestly, all of it is just tiring. There's a reason that this genre is as niche as it is. The game is barely pulling 20,000 concurrent players on Steam, which is just embarrassing for a major release. Forbes even reported that out of its estimated 1.2 million sales, PlayStation 5 players don't even make up 20% of the population. Like, this is a Sony first-party studio game, and it's this much of a complete disaster. If milking their customers is what Sony was looking for, why not just make something similar to Helldivers 2? A fun PvE shooter where you fight against the overwhelming odds with your buddies. Or why not take a page out of Arc Raiders' book, which actually managed to make the extraction genre feel fresh and social. But no, they made Marathon, and gamers are voting with their wallets. But honestly, I think most of us would have just preferred a single-player campaign with optional multiplayer. We don't want to be forced online just to hear little Timmy screaming about his dinosaur McNuggets. We just want a good game that we can enjoy, one that doesn't make us feel like we're tuning in to a second job. But of course, not everything is sunshine and rainbows in the gaming community right now with Pragmata, because even when we get a massive single player win, a game that actually respects our time and money, people still have to find something to cry about. Apparently people are big mad at Pragmata, and it's stirring up a whole lot of controversy online right now. Why? Because the game features a childlike robot character named Diana. Yeah, they're mad because kids exist. I wish I was making this up, but the internet has literally lost its collective mind over a fictional android child in a video game. I was just scrolling through Twitter and YouTube trying to see what people thought of the game's hacking mechanics and the actual combat controls, and instead I see people having absolute meltdowns over this wholesome father-daughter dynamic. You've got normal players saying that the game actually made them emotional and made them think about wanting to start a family. You know, pretty standard human emotions. And then you have leftist streamers like HasanAbi going on these massive live stream rants, literally calling players lonely gamers and questioning why they even care about having children if they've never been around a woman. Like, what kind of weird backwards logic is that? The game has a touching story where you protect a little girl who draws cute pictures for you to put on the wall, and somehow these online personalities are twisting it into some kind of right-wing propaganda. It's a video game about a spaceman on the moon fighting rogue AI robots, and people are still getting triggered by the concept of fatherhood. It's honestly baffling to me how disconnected some of these people are from normal human experiences. And then you have outlets like Kotaku running articles claiming the character is PDF file bait, and Reddit completely imploding on itself. But to be fair, there was an actual problem with a bunch of weirdos on Reddit making disgusting posts about this little android character, to the point to where a moderator stepped down and Reddit had to step in and ban an entire Pragmata subreddit. And yeah, whoever those guys were, they probably need to have their hard drives checked. But instead of just banning the creeps and moving on, the outrage mob decided that the mere existence of this kind of character in a video game is inherently problematic. Like, they literally want to ban kids from being in stories because some people on the internet just don't know how to act. It's punishing normal gamers and developers for the actions of a few basement dwellers. I mean, nobody had a problem when Joel was protecting Ellie in The Last of Us, or when Lee was protecting Clementine in The Walking Dead. Those are considered some of the greatest narratives in gaming history. But suddenly, Hugh protecting Diana, who by the way is wearing a giant bulky winter coat the entire time, well, that's highly controversial. Some people are even mad about a Twitch badge for the game that they claim looks like a weird dog whistle meme. It's just exhausting. They don't actually care about the games, they just want to be mad at something. They search for things to be offended by so that they can write their little think pieces and farm engagement on Twitter. Meanwhile, the actual gamers are just trying to enjoy a cool new sci-fi world with some satisfying hacking and shooting mechanics. The game introduces a lot of fresh concepts, but all anyone wants to talk about is manufactured outrage. But you know what the best part is? Despite all the drama, Capcom is just laughing all the way to the bank. They recently announced their 12th consecutive year of profit growth, and they're targeting 100 million annual game sales. PC sales alone are dominating and making up over 50% of their units sold. They didn't bow down to the mob, they didn't hire a bunch of consultants to sanitize their games, and they didn't ruin their game's creative vision to appease a vocal minority of internet complainers who weren't even gonna buy the game anyway. They just delivered a solid single-player experience without any live service always online slop attached to it. They even brought the game's release date forward by a week because they were so confident in it, and gamers rewarded them by buying 1 million copies in just a few days. It just shows that the traditional gaming model still works. You don't need to jam a battle pass into every single menu to turn a profit. Look at Ubisoft right now. I mean, these guys are bleeding stock. Tencent had to come in there and buy a whole bunch of their company. Look at Rocksteady, completely decimated after that Suicide Squad dumpster fire. The studios that are failing are the ones that are treating players like walking wallets. The studios that are succeeding, like Capcom, or the indie developers making games like Slay Spire 2 or Expedition 33, those are the ones focusing on making good art. They're giving gamers the satisfying experiences that they ask for, exploring themselves creatively instead of chasing whatever trend some guy in a boardroom told them would make the most money. So yeah, while Sony is sweating bullets over Bungie's financial failings and Marathon's dwindling player bases, Capcom is out here proving that taking a risk on a new single-player IP is still the best way to win. If you make a game with good bones, people will play it, and we need to let the people in charge know that we're tired of the nonsense. But seriously, we need our games to stop chasing the same tired trends and get back to what made gaming great in the first place. Anyway, dude, I just wanted to rant a little bit about the state of gaming. Now I'm gonna go drop some money on Pragmata and adopt my new robot daughter. This is RageWatch, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.